What's up guys, I'm BTC, Baptiste's Ultimate gets fixed, new subtitles, and 222 roll lock confirmed real soon. If you're enjoying the video, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new, subscribe and hit the bell to get more. Let's get started. First up, Baptiste's Ultimate on the live version of the game is currently broken. It does not boost the healing that it's supposed to. There are two functions to Baptiste's Ultimate Amplification Matrix. It will boost all the damage that goes through it, hit, scan, and projectile, and also all of the healing, again, hit, scan, and projectile. But right now on the live version, it doesn't boost any of that healing, which is a pretty big problem because one of its main uses is providing that extra healing to your team. Over on the PTR, this has been fixed, but remember, it takes a while before those PTR patches ever get moved to the live version of the game. We don't know how long this is going to be. It could be a week, it could be several weeks. So right now on that live version, that Baptiste ult is still broken. Now, I was expecting them to push out a hotfix for this, considering how big of a deal it is for the character, but they decided to go the PTR route, and it might take a while. There's a brand new feature added to the game called Subtitles. It does exactly what you would expect. It puts text on the bottom of the screen showing you what's going on. To access this, you go to Options, Sound, and then Subtitles. There are 4 options. You can have it off, you can have critical gameplay, and conversations, and then everything. Now, the most obvious use for this is for the hearing impaired. Besides the obvious uses of this system, there's also ways that players can take advantage of it. One of the more notable ones is going to be with Sombra. So when an enemy Sombra decloaks, now you'll have that little message on the bottom that tells you, hey, there's an enemy Sombra right there. And it doesn't matter if you're looking at her or not. If she decloaks, then you get that message. So maybe you can't quite hear it because there's lots of other stuff going on, lots of attacks and explosions, whatever is going on in the match. And then suddenly you see this little Sombra thing pop up. You know that she's there. This gives you a distinct advantage. Now, some people are saying that this is going to be an absolute must-have for the higher bracket players and for the pros. I don't think it's quite to that extent, but it definitely can give you an advantage. This can also be used against other characters like Reaper, for example. Somehow, Blizzard managed to take Shadow Step, which is the worst ability in the entire game, and they made it worse with the subtitles. So now when Reaper uses it, you now get this indicator saying that, oh hey, he's repositioning, but hold on, because it gets even worse. Sometimes when he uses that ability, he doesn't actually say anything. You just get the little sound effects accompanied to it. It's not attached to any skin. That's a myth. It can be on any of the character skins. But the thing is, sometimes he says something, sometimes he doesn't. So now, whether or not the enemy is notified with the subtitle is up to RNG. They made the worst ability in the game even worse, and they added RNG to it. I don't know what to say to that. I just don't. The really big thing to talk about, though, is that 222 roll lock seems to be all but confirmed for the next stage of the Overwatch League. Now, over the last week, there have been a bunch of rumors about this getting added, but in fairness, there was some rumors in the previous stage of the Overwatch League as well. The difference this time is one of the pro players named Fisher, who plays on the Seoul Dynasty, just retired. And in a live stream, he said, you know what, I'm retired now, so I'm just going to come out and say it, that 222 roll lock is getting added in the next stage. Now, I don't know the specifics of his contract, but usually there's some sort of non-disclosure agreement that still is in effect even after you leave the team. So he might not have been supposed to say this, but I don't know if Blizzard is actually going to make a big deal about it or anything like that. But in any case, he did say, hey, 222 roll lock. Now, in previous videos, I've talked about this, and I've even shown it, where because the Overwatch League uses teams on custom games, there is quite literally only one little setting that they need to change in order to make it 222. It's this right here. I've shown this before. They just need to change this. That's as simple as it is in order to have 222 in the Overwatch League. Now, on the competitive ladder, it's a completely different story because you don't have the fixed teams, and you have all these different people queuing into matches, and they all want to play different things, and So it's far more complicated for everyone else in the regular game as opposed to the pros in the Overwatch League. But if they do make this change, and it does seem like they're going to, there's going to be some pretty big changes right away to how the game is being played, because right now, GOATs, or at least variations of the GOATs comp, are still the dominant thing in the Overwatch League. Now, on the regular competitive ladder, that's not really the case. You're seeing a lot more Orisa Roadhog sort of stuff, and even a bunch of dive and that. But on the pro scene, it's still mostly GOATs. Now, what's probably going to happen is they're going to end up switching to either dive or the Orisa Roadhog, because if they're forced into the 2-2-2, then a lot of those Brig-related comps just are not going to work anymore, and they're going to have to change stuff around. Don't be surprised if Brigida's pick rate in the pros just drops like a rock. What I think Blizzard is trying to do right now is generate more interest in the Overwatch League and to try to use it kind of as a test area to see how well people like it. Because right now, I think a lot of the viewers of the Overwatch League are just tired of seeing GOATs. All the time, it's GOATs in one form or another, and they're just sick of it, right? Now, I think Jeff Kaplan did make an argument a while back ago where people are always going to be sick of the meta regardless of what it is, right? Like, if it's dive, they're going to be sick of dive. If it's GOATs, they're sick of GOATs. You know, if it's Hanzo Zarya, they're going to be sick of that. There's always going to be that one that's considered the best, but as long as there are several others that are also viable, then I don't think there's going to be an issue. Now, what I think Blizzard is also trying to do with this, in addition to just generating more viewership for the Overwatch League, is, again, they're going to be testing it and seeing how people react to it, because if they do end up going with this in the regular game, they're also going to have to make a bunch of balance changes, and I've talked about this, Jeff Kaplan's talked about this. Brigida is a really good example. She works incredibly well in a triple support lineup, but in 2-2-2, she is just not nearly as good as she is. And I think there are some other characters that are definitely going to need to be reworked as well. I've also made a Bastion rework video that I released just the other day. If you haven't watched that, I suggest you go and check it out, because there are a lot of problems with Bastion right now. Just the lowest pick rate in the game, completely unviable in the vast majority of situations, and still kind of stuck in that old design philosophy that Blizzard used to have where they wanted to have niche characters, and that just doesn't work anymore. Anyways, you can go check out that video. There's a pretty thorough breakdown of all the problems and the possible solutions. Two things I want to quickly mention. The Jonak 2018 MVP skin is supposed to be available. They put out a tweet saying that it was, but I checked in-game and it's not there, so it should be popping up anytime soon. And also, Hero 31 is right around the corner. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a teaser for it as early as today. I've made a video just the other day, and I went through the entire timeline, possible release dates, teasers, all that sort of stuff, and who is most likely going to be Hero 31. Again, if you want to check that video out, there'll be a link on the top of the screen and down below. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to see more, subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss anything. Also, come hang out in my Discord server and my Twitch live stream. Special thanks to my Patreon supporters. If you'd like to see what kind of cool VIP rewards you can get, check the links down below. And remember, always blame the controller, because it's never your fault.